What's up, everyone? It's Cannan back with another video, and thankfully, for the first time in a long time, we have some RWBY news. Some news that I think is bigger than what some people think it is. Now, since the last RWBY video I did, a few things have happened. Viz has started selling RWBY merch, which is great. Most of the soundtracks have come back to streaming services. I know volumes 1 through 3 haven't, but I think either 4 through 9 or 6 through 9 are back. So, yeah, we're either missing 1 through 3 or 1 through 5. I can't really remember, but they're not all there yet. But yesterday, April 2nd, we finally got a new video from Kerry. I'm not going to play it because I'm pretty sure everyone that is going to be watching this has already seen it. But pretty much announcing that the show, RWBY, Volumes 1 through 9, are finally coming back to streaming services for people to purchase and to watch. Now, you have to remember, ever since Warner Brothers shut Rooster Teeth down, after that initial shutdown date, RWBY pretty much didn't exist anymore on any kind of digital platform. I think Crunchyroll still has Ice Queendom, but other than that, Volumes 1 through 9, all the soundtracks, any kind of merch whatsoever just was not being made whatsoever. Like, it was done. And then, of course, last July, I believe it was it July or June? July 5th, Viz bought RWBY. So, of course, the fandom exploded with happiness on that. I did several videos around that time on Viz's purchase of RWBY, and there was a lot of hype going up leading up to that we were going to find out at Anime Expo, which we did. And I think one thing the fandom still doesn't understand is how long it takes for a company, no matter who they are, to get production running on a show that they just acquired, that they didn't make themselves, that they didn't own from the very beginning. So, as happy as I was when Viz bought RWBY, there was still a lot of questions, like, how long is it going to take them to decide a budget? How long is it going to take them to decide if they're going to have an animation studio and outsource it to have them make it? Are they going to create their own animation studio just for RWBY? I highly doubt it, but that'd be cool if that happened. What about everything else? Now, things for me started looking up when Viz announced new RWBY merch. Now, RWBY merch has always been a very controversial thing, like people questioning the quality of it or the price and all that. I don't think they've come out with anything like earth-shattering yet, but it's basic merch to get out there into the world. And then when the soundtracks came back, it was a big deal, but some of them are still missing. Now, I do not know if this is 100% fact, but the rumor mill says is that one of the reasons why it took them so long to get the soundtracks back on, and one of the reasons why it's still taking Viz a while to announce anything major for RWBY, as far as anything new goes, was because of Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll has been holding them up. I don't know if it has to do with the exclusivity thing they did for Volume 9, and I guess Crunchyroll just expected to get more of the RWBY pie after that, but apparently, as far as the music rights go and the volumes themselves and all that, Crunchyroll kind of blockaded them for a while. Now that this has happened, I think that is more than likely over now, but that might be a reason why Crunchyroll is missing off this particular list as of right now. Once again, that has been the rumor mill. I don't know if that's 100% fact. I've heard it from multiple people that Crunchyroll is one of the reasons why Viz has been mostly quiet about RWBY is because Crunchyroll was still fighting them on things. Maybe Crunchyroll wanted to be the only place for RWBY to air, and Viz said no. Who knows? But yes, the most of the volumes soundtracks are out. There are still a few missing, but I'm sure those will get put out ASAP. But then April 2nd, yesterday, another big announcement that a lot of people had been wondering was, when are volumes 1 through 9 going to be available again to watch through streaming? Now, if you're like me and Jess, who own all the volumes on physical Blu-ray, that didn't really hurt us that much because we could just plop it into our PlayStation 5s or anything like that and just watch it when we wanted to. But yeah, there's a lot of people who don't do physical media, and for a lot of people, those physical discs are either very hard to find, or they have to order them offline and import them. And with the way the economic world is going right now, that's more expensive than buying a car at this point. But yes, for a lot of people, they did not have access to the RWBY seasons anymore. Like I said, there's people like us, and I'm sure many others, who have the physical discs. I think the only physical media for the show that we still do not own physically is Ice Queendom. We need to really get that Ice Queendom Blu-ray, but before they get too hard to find. But yeah, we have volumes 1 through 9, and we have the 2 Justice League movies, all on Blu-ray. So that wasn't an immediate concern for, like, in my mind, just because we already had them, but it was for the rest of the fandom. Well, Kerry came on to do this little short video. I'm not going to play it because, like I said, I'm sure you've already seen it. But pretty much saying that on April 15th, 2025, RWBY Volumes 1 through 5 are returning to streaming platforms on April 15th, which he says is just in time for Anime Day. But the streaming services that they have announced so far are Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, Fandango at Home, Microsoft Movies and TV, Google TV, and YouTube. So I don't think he said anything about naming more or others later. I mean, they always could. That just might be the initial, and he even says in the video that's just the beginning. So they might be waiting on more places to announce that it's going to be streaming from. Crunchyroll is the big question mark, because once again, if the rumor mill is true, Crunchyroll gave them a lot of trouble when it came to putting the soundtracks and the volumes back online. But I think personally, this is a bigger deal than a lot of people are thinking. So keep in mind, once again, I'm not a business-minded person. I don't know how television or making a show 100% works, but I have a basic idea. For the longest while now, RWBY has not existed anymore. All right? Like, it still exists, yes, but as a place to go watch it or to buy merch or anything like that, it's been non-existent, except secondhand markets. If you ask me, it makes sense from a business standpoint that Viz would want to get more out there before they announce the production of Volume 10 and onwards, and whether that be video games, more manga, anything like that. So it makes basic sense. First, create a new line of merch. Then get the soundtracks back out there to generate more income and more hype. And then finally, get Volume 1 through 9 back out there. Because for new fans, they're going to want to watch the entire series before the new season comes out. And of course, for returning fans who don't own it physically or anything like that, can rewatch the series again leading up to Volume 10. And to me, that's very smart. Generating income and interest in it slowly but surely through merch, bringing the soundtracks back, and bringing the show itself back before you announce the main show. That way you can make some money to go toward new production of the show, video games, merch, toys, statues, all of that. Now, why doesn't Viz just give Kerry and them a budget and go ham? Well, Viz wants to make sure it's going to make money. Now, we all know how much money RWBY made, despite what a lot of no names on Reddit or all that want to say. RWBY generated a lot of money that Rooster Teeth sadly kind of mishandled, and well, you know, certain individuals in Rooster Teeth mishandled it and all that. And I'm sure when they were owned by WB, I'm sure WB got a large amount of that money. So yes, I'm sure this is a marketing technique to make sure that they're going to make money off this. Now, Viz needs to be careful, because there is such a thing as waiting too late to try and get interest going. Because if they wait too much longer, in July, it'll be 1 year since they bought RWBY, and they've barely done, like I've said, they've released merch, they've re-released the soundtracks, they're bringing the volumes back, but they need to do something soon. But I think, personally, this is like the last small little major announcement for RWBY before we get a look at the future, before we get an announcement of Volume 10 and future projects. It could be as early. The easiest guess, I want to say, will be either between the late spring to the fall during convention season, because that's where usually big announcements are made. Viz buying RWBY was made at Anime Expo, so who knows? Maybe this year at Anime Expo, around a year after. I'm not sure Anime Expo's dates this year, and maybe they're waiting for the 1 year. Maybe on July 5th, that's when they'll make the announcement. We'll see. I mean, it's not that much out of possibility. And for all we know, there might have already been some kind of work being done. I mean, they had Lindsay, Kara, Aaron, and Barbara all together to shoot those little shorts they did around for the holidays, and we're still getting new ones every now and then about different things. So they were definitely all together. Like, do I want to think that that's all they came together for? I don't know. I don't know how long it took them to shoot all that. But we know, as I've said in previous videos, that Volume 10 had already been in the writing process before Volume 9 aired. Because when they announced that they were going to be on Crunchyroll, they announced it in that press release that even though Volume 10 had not been greenlit, they had already started writing it. I would not be shocked at this moment now, almost 2 years since Volume 9 finished airing, that the script, I'm sure the volume is written. I am 100% sure of that. Like, there's no way it's not written. Now, as far as animation goes and voice work, I think voice work is probably one of the last things they do. But that's only guessing. I'm not sure. But it depends. Like, it just depends. If Viz has signed an animation department to do it or a studio to do it, nothing. It's not leaked. It's not went through any channels, so maybe not. Maybe no animation has been done. But I think what a lot of us need to remember is that I think Viz has a lot more money than Rooster Teeth did, and I think Viz will give them more money than Warner Brothers was to make it. So with more money comes sometimes a faster production. So even if no animation has been done yet, when they finally announce it and production starts full steam ahead, it might not take them that long to make it because they've got the resources. Who knows? We will really have to see. It also depends on voice talents and who's coming back, who isn't, and their availability. Because Volume 10, I think, is going to have a lot of characters. That's actually another video idea me and Jessie need to do, is our wish list for Volume 10. But I have a feeling Volume 10 is going to have a lot of returning characters, with us going back to Vacuo. There's Team Sun, there's Team Coffee. So Volume 10 is going to be a packed up season just with characters alone. So it's going to be interesting because a lot of times past, people move on. They move on to other projects. So it's going to be interesting to see who all will return. and if anyone else has to be recast because that voice talent is not available or doesn't want to come back or anything like that. At least we know with all the stuff they've been doing with Viz and all that, at least we do know for sure that Lindsay, Kara, Aaron, and Barbara will return as being the voice talents for Team RWBY. We also know that Kerry is still involved. I want to guess he's still going to be the showrunner, like the one in charge. But we've still not really gotten any confirmation of who else. Like, when it was first announced, it seemed like all of RWBY had been hired, or at least someone, or the writers were at least coming back. It'd be great if all of RWBY got jobs, but who knows? I think some of them have moved on to other places. But when, like, it was first initially announced that the writing team was coming back, so I'm guessing Kerry, Eddie, I don't know if Miles will still come back and ride. He always said he'd come back to voice John at least. So, but yeah, I think this might be the last thing we hear for a while until they make the announcement. Could be this summer. Could be in the fall. I think at this point you're probably not. If they announce it in the summer or the fall, we're probably not going to see Volume 10 until sometime next year. At the latest, early 2027. I don't want it to take that long, but if so, so be it. But I really do think production will be smoother. I think it'll be a little bit faster, but we'll see. But yes, April 15th, RWBY returns to streaming platforms for people to purchase and to watch from their homes and other smart devices, I'm sure. And that's a big deal, because that definitely means Viz is preparing for something. And I'm sure they've got a timetable of, okay, this is when this launches, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, we are just going to have to wait and see. But that is all I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, click that like button, leave a comment, and all that good stuff. Sadly, Jess couldn't join me for this video because she is still working on our Bumblebee video, which might have to be delayed till Saturday. We'll have to see. But please remember that me and Jess love you all very, very much. Please stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. See ya.